So, I'm setting this tank up. I'll be setting it back up. The last couple of weeks, it's been a quarantine tank for kois, as well as some marine kois. I'm now in temporary in my fancy tank with the pond plants. So, in this video, I'm going to be setting this tank up for some skittlebacks, as well as in the process of also using pond plants. This time around, whereas last time, I'm doing the exact same method. So using neutron bows as well as pond soil as well as sand, like I did in that tank. There's a subscribe in that video. But I'm using a aquarium plant. I'm using the Flovo Planter 3.0 version, so like it's growing the plants really well. Now in this tank, I've actually ordered a light which cost me 20 quid. And the idea that it is designed for a house plant. Now, the main reason why I am doing this as another experiment to see if I could grow a house plant, pond plant in a tank again, see if that one was just a once-off, or to see if I could create that same recipe twice and just get away with it somehow again. Third and finally, it's going to be skittlebacks, which skittlebacks to me are a pond fish, so I'm thinking pond themed. I'm thinking pond plants. I'm thinking a nice cool looking background, which is this background that will do alright nicely. So for what now, I'll just show you how to set up a pond plant tank. So this is the pond soil. It is approximately about 2 inches. That's all you need. From here then, what I like to do is plant in the plants. It's like now I got this plant. I do have this plant here, that plant, and this plant's going in. As well as then I'm maybe gonna try to figure out to plant one of these ones in. Like some above the little holder I'll be growing outside the tank. That'd be really cool and really nice and differently. So maybe I'm going to look into that as well tonight. Or today. So now, you can use any pond soil. I recommend using pond soil. Because cream soil, when I tried it last year with cream soil, it didn't really work as well. With pond soil, it's already got the correct nutrients and stuff like that for the fish. And honestly, since I set that tank back up, the water quality's been absolutely crystal clear, so I know it's going to work, and I should work on this again and give us that same crystal quality. So you use any pond soil off Amazon or your local garden centre or your local pond shop. From here then, so as I have 4 plants, I'm going to try to grow the big plants. What I'm going to do is have one here. We've got the lily pad looking things directly in the middle. So let me just show you what it looks like. So you have one there. So this will be the sort of thing which I would be thinking about doing. Now, best thing is these are pond plants and there's quite a lot with them. So what you can do is just break them up and plant them around. So like maybe like this one be. I'm going to keep this right in the middle, like this big bunch, because I just really want to grow really nice. As I can't really grow lily pads in this tank. This tank's way too small for lily pads, as well as the other plants I got. As well as possibly a couple more to add down the line. And obviously I want to try to grow them 2 plants out there on the ends. So I'm going to try to keep the ends as possibly clear. Now maybe for this plant, as well as that plant, I could break this into 4 pieces, same again with this one, and maybe with this one, dash around the front, keep the lily pads there, or the lily pad looking, break that one down into 4, grow a set there, set there, set there, set there, and then break that one down to 4, and do exactly the same. Just breaks it up of all the different colours and texture. Once it's fully grown, it's going to look nice and ready, and it's going to be a simple skip. I think that's where I'm going to go with it. So, let me take these back out. Let me show the plant in. I just rip this ramp into 4 pieces. Then I'm going to show the plan. Now, the reason why I don't do the sand first, the sand will lock down the plants as well as the soil. Mainly the soil, but also the plants. That one, then it can stop the plants then from also floating back out. It's going to lock it down in place, and it's going to be ready to be sorted for you. So right now, I'm going to do is to move a like the. So right now I'm going to just make a little all my fingers, then grab the plants which are going to go down here, and then recover the whole bag up. Now, even though it doesn't really feel like it's locked in place, the time you add your sand in, this will lock them in place. Now, what would you do if you was going to have plants after the sand? Then obviously the one thing you want to try to do is clear it up. And try to get as much mud out of the roots as possible if you're going to just put them in a tank with one already with sand in, or with a tank that's already set up. You can add them straight to the plant tank already set up, but as I'm resetting this one up, this is the purpose. Now I'm going to do that 4 more times on that plant, do another 4 more times on another plant, and then we'll add the sand in, show you guys what it looks like with the sand. I'm fully set up. Right, so this is what I got in the end. So I ended up making this plant into 2, this plant into 2 as well, and then this little plant going to be 5. I'm hoping what will happen is this plant will start growing across or on the front. That's what I'm kind of hoping. If not, it's always just to trim back, replant them, and keep up the maintenance that way. So the next step is to add sand, but yeah, really like the idea. So now I'm going to just add sand. Now what I tend to like to do with the sand is use a cup or a jug and then sprinkle the sand around the plants as well as maybe a little bit on top, just to hold it down and lock it down. Now the main reason I tend to do that is because one is you don't want to chuck the sand on top of the plants, so end up killing the plants off, or they just won't grow at all. Also, before I'm going to do that, I'm going to add in these nutrient balls. Now, these nutrient balls are for palm plants, which these are palm plants. These seem to do really well in my 5 foot, as well as they seem to do really well in the pond outside. So I am going to continue using these and just shove them down by a plant. This is going to just give the plants a bit extra nutrients, as well as hopefully to give it the right boost that it needs to continue regrowing in my tank. After we plant that one, that's fine. Give it the right nutrients to continue to regrow. Now, problem with this little plant is to break it up. It should grow without it because the pollen soil should be enough anyway. But this is just to give it an extra boost, especially these plants where I want them to grow big. Whereas this little plant, I want it to stay quite relatively small and continue growing in a slow grace. Whereas these guys, I kind of want to give them a boost start, like, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to replant that back in, get the sand in, and then show you. Now to add the sand, best bet is to grab a cut. This sand I don't really wash out. It's not really dusty. I use it plenty of times, so I don't need to really wash it out. But please, you know, read the description on the back of your sand. Depending on your sand, which is the sand which I'm using, you might need to wash it out, pre-rinse it and stuff like that. Whereas this one for me, I've used it plenty of times. Used this brand before. Never really washed it out before then. Sorry, I'm just keep tapping the button. I don't need to do it now. Just the other thing is, because obviously like me, I'm using it with one hand. Best bet is to pick up the plant and then do it around. Which now that's what I'm going to do. Just want to kind of show you how to do it. And like I said, if you got, so I reckon that's probably about 2 inches of pond soil. So you probably want another 2 or 3 inches of sand. Now the main reason is for that will lock it down. It will lock down all the soil down to the bottom of the ground. I also lock down any nutrients from the nutrient balls, for the fertilizer balls as well as the pond soil. Any nutrients in that, it will lock it down so all the roots were able to grab that, and the water quality is not going to grab it. So right now I'm going to continue to finish this off, and we'll get you back at the speed. So now the other thing which I'm doing is spraying down the sand plants. Now the main reason why I'm doing this for is to lock down the sand. Now when the sand is dry, it's still movable, stuff like that. So once you fill the tank up with water through pouring a bucket in, or using a siphon from a connected to the pipe, I end up causing the sand to move, which then causes the soil to move, which we don't want that. So what we want to do is to spray it on the sand, enough for it to get soaking, and then it'll kind of end up locking it. So it'll just kind of lock it up. So I'm going to do this for a bit, and get it sitting about far, and then start putting the water in slowly like. So now finally fill up the tank up. So I got the hyphon into a bucket, and you start bunking. I got a breathing mop. Preferably you want to do it with a sponge or some type of cloth that haven't been used for cleaning projects. Now what this will do is just make sure none of the sand is going to move and dig up that dirt. So what that's going to do is stop the water. Now this bit is going to be the longest bit, because as I'm doing it slowly, and it's just gone past the sand already, but you know what I mean, this bit's going to take the slowest. Always take the slowest. But once it's filled up to a point, I can speed up the speed then. But at the moment, I just want to go slow until to a certain point, anyway. Right, now the tank is set up and ready. So at the moment, I'm going to give this a couple of days before adding any fish in here. Now, the fish I'm temporarily going to be adding in here is cloud minnows, just because I think one, it'll make a quick little tank for them at the moment. As well as two, I cannot find a place at the moment that does skittlebacks, which I'm after to order some from Copco, which I used in my fancy unboxing. That should be, for the fancy pond, which you should see that video now, because that video is quite cool and it makes a difference. So in the end, I went with one plant only because I know the fact that I need a sponge foot in this tank, and that sponge foot is on this side, which then is connected to my goldfish sponge footers, then through a little three-way splitter, and it's connected down to the pump. Same main pump, and it's connected to the tropical. So what I end up doing for this plant was to go for my old ornaments. Managed to found one of my old ornaments, shove it down there as quite as far as I could, and like quite deep as well, so it doesn't really move, and all the roots now are in the water, which is great, because now the roots are in water without no media. This is going to help with the nitrates and the water quality, and also because that plant is actually meant to help with algae as well, string algae or any algae in the pond. I do believe this is going to help out with the algae on this tank, especially because I got the lights on for 12 hours a day. Don't get me wrong, these plants will do the same job, they'll help with algae, but they're not going to be as effective. Like at the moment I do have a bit of an algae issue with that tank, and with that tank, at the moment I'm doing a scrub back, and hopefully it won't grow back to us now. Even if you just scrub back, it probably won't grow back anyway. So, for now I'm going to leave the tank light on here until I get the new light, which is going to be a planter light for indoor plants, which should work on pond plants, as well as more importantly, work on the plant that's sticking out. The one I've ordered is like a two-way. There's like a two-way splitter type thing, so it is going to split where hopefully one line down and then one coming up facing towards that plant, just hopefully to keep it growing, as well as obviously like I know this is going to be the nutrients for that tank, or for that plant. This generally is one of my favourite looking tanks, especially because how small it is, and especially once we get the sticklebacks in, it's going to look fine. Now I am going to give this a couple of days, and this reason is going to be to let the roots grow and resettle back in. Now I'm going to stop any fish from pouring back up. As well, secondly, because I use just cold water, no warm water, it's going to take a couple of days to get to room temperature. Now, once the tank's at room temperature, we will get the cloud minerals, and then, like I said, and once I find a place to order me the scuttlebacks in, or even you order them online, then I'll order them in, and the cloud minerals either stay in there with them, or I end up putting them in one of my other tanks. Not really too much a bigger deal anyway. But yeah, the idea is I'm going to have a group of about 10 scuttlebacks in this tank, and they will be looking fantastic once the plants start growing back. What I might do is get some more oxygenated plants at the back, the ones I have in that tank, as well as some ballast end up at the back, just to make it feel more alive, I guess you could say in some certain words, and just give a bit more plants that, you know, it's not going to look a bit plain. Just give it that boost start, and then hopefully towards. And then once these plants maybe grow in, maybe then we could cut them back, or even reuse them in different tanks. Which whatever way, we'll come towards that at a different night. What I might actually do as well, just to keep a bit more pollen free ways, is to buy the littlest lily pad, which there's a tank lily pad, which they might be able to grow in this tank perfectly really well. Which I might try to pick that up as well, just to try something else different. But yeah, we'll see how this tank goes. So it's been, I don't think it's even been a week since now I'm recording this outro for this video, or at least the update of this video. These plants are doing really well. They are they grow in it. They seem to be doing really healthy. Especially these two plants on this side, it seems to be getting a lot more health. So I ended up just sticking with the Flovo light, and that was just because the planting light which I tried to use, the house planting light, was just not bright enough. So I know that they would have ended up dying. So as this is just the standard aquarium light, I do believe, somewhat of a close enough being a standard aquarium light. I think any aquarium light will work enough as long as it's bright enough to my degree. But this was just another experiment which I wanted to run and try, and honestly, it is doing really well. As now I'm finishing editing the video, and that's all I got left to do now is the update as well as the outro. Seeing the difference between not even, like I said, not even a week. I think at this point it's been I was supposed to say it's coming to the end of the first week. So I managed to get some cloud minerals for now. Obviously the plan is still to be a scuttleback tank, but obviously we'll have to see in time. Obviously the plant above is still doing alright at the moment, but obviously I'm going to keep my eye on that, because at the moment that starts dying back or not doing really well, and obviously I'll be using it in the pond. But at the moment it seems to be doing alright. It doesn't seem to be growing, but it does seem to be doing alright. It's good to know that the recipe which I created in this tank, so the light right now is done down low with the usual brightness, just because the lights are meant to be off. But it's good to know the recipe which I've created in this tank and I'm recreated in this one have worked really well for me twice back to back. So honestly, follow the steps. Use the pond soil, the sand, and the fertilizer balls, and you'll get healthy growing pond plants growing in your aquariums, including a pond lily pad. I also put a pond lily pad in my tropical tank without a fertilizer ball, and that seems to be doing really well. But I think that's just because the pH levels and stuff in there are a bit more higher up in my goldfish tank. No idea why, but it's just always had been the case. But yeah, the lily pad's doing really well, and all the rest of the plants are doing really well. So if you are going to create this recipe, 2 inches soil, 2 inches of sand, and then obviously the fertilizer balls, and you will get some healthy growing plants. Germany is one of my favorite projects to do. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Please check out the latest video, which is the unboxing fancy fish for my fancy pond. Generally, that video is worth the watch. Them fish are absolutely gorgeous. And also, you guys want to see updates on this tank or any of my future projects down the line, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Bye for now.